Started. Welcome to Commissioner's Court. Please silence your cell phones and your pagers. You have them on. Remember, this is a public meeting, not a public hearing, so let's please abide by the rules set forth. I'm going to start with roll call. Commissioner Yauer.
Here.
Commissioner Rosales.
Here.
Judge Shaw here. Commissioner Schindel.
Here.
Commissioner Hummel.
Here.
Carol Sweezy with the County Clerk's Office. Here. Please stand and join us in opening prayer and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Heavenly Father, we ask that you be with us as we make decisions for Karnes and guide us in the best way to lead our citizens. We also ask that you be with our troops wherever they may be, and that you be with our family and friends as they travel in this weather. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That might push our presentation times back.
I need these times.
6 or 7 minutes for the jails. Is that okay, Beto? Are we okay by that? So you want to go ahead whenever you're ready.
Okay, Mr. Shakami?
Y'all working from the bottom way up, huh? Well, this is number 7 that I put on that paper. It has nothing to do with myself running against Mr. Hummel. It has to do with the individual that's in that position that might or might not be reelected. So whoever's going to be in charge of this ought to be somebody that's going to be around for a while. That's how I feel about that. And number 21, I think they ought to get more money, because it's not cheap out there trying to do what that gentleman's trying to do on serving the warrants. And last but definitely not least, number 22 for myself, y'all need to give the sheriff whatever he needs. Whatever he asks for, he ought to get it. I don't know about any of y'all had any thieving or anybody coming on any of your property, but we could sure use a whole lot more deputies, and they could sure use a whole lot more equipment. So, thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
You're welcome.
Hannah Hall?
I was just speaking on consideration of recent unexpected news in regards to us not receiving the grant. We do need to have someone in a position that is going to carry us all the way through these phases if indeed these phases continue to carry forth. It seems it would be viable to reconsider the important aspect of employing a qualified and experienced someone in the field, someone that has a qualified eye, someone that knows contractual work as an owner representative or a constructional consultant in order to be aware of the important contractual and constructional occurrences and to serve the best interest of the county throughout this process that is an enormous project in which many counties have had great difficulty. I'd also like to ask, in lieu of not receiving the grant, I think a lot of people are concerned if we end up funding a lot of this ourselves as a county, are we going to be held obligated to the rules and regulations of the THC? I know that Nueces County right now, the one that they have fenced off, is they're obligated to the THC to the year of 2027 for that building for a $3 million grant that they took in the year 2003. They had an engineer come in to look at it. It was going to cost them $41 million to repair that building. They don't have the money. They're interested in trying to do something because of the danger of the building, and they're currently approaching the THC to see what they can do with that contract, because they made the decision to go off and build a new one for $26 million that was twice the size. So I just wonder where it puts us as far as, if we're going to end up funding it ourselves. Thanks, Donna.
Mr. Yarder?
Good morning. I'm here to speak on items 7 and 8 on the agenda. I and many others support the removal of Commissioner Hummel as the owner representative for Phase 1, the removal of the addition and restoration of the west side of the Karnes County Courthouse. In addition, I would also ask that Commissioner Hummel not be considered for any future task due to his failure to represent Karnes County properly to date. He supported the contractor when the contractor failed to properly seal a room above the sheriff's office, which resulted in damaging and destroying computers and other equipment, which should have been charged to the contractor. The requirement under the state law for asbestos payment is totally sealed the room for water and other debris, not partially sealed the room. It was their error and they should pay. As a result, the county paid approximately $50,000 for the replacement of that equipment. Commissioner Hummel then supported the contractor when they submitted a request for overcharges in an amount of approximately, or a little over $25,000, which was eventually disapproved by the Commissioner's Court. These actions appear, at least to me, to be a conflict of interest, and that it appears that he is working for the State Historical Commission and representing the contractor and not representing Karnes County. It's very clear that Commissioner Hummel is not qualified by her experience or education to have this job. Commissioner Hummel has, in my opinion, showed clearly he has no loyalty to Karnes County by his actions, and be removed from this position and not be given any further responsibility as he is asking for in other items on this morning's agenda. As to item 8, the request for proposal is not necessary for professional services. I'm recommending that Matt Dockery be appointed as his own representative for Karnes County. Matt Dockery has the requisite experience and qualifications for this position and would properly and responsibly represent Karnes County. It is my opinion that Matt Dockery will perform his duties with honesty, integrity, and loyalty to Karnes County. I would also ask that Mr. Dockery appoint a committee of one person from each precinct, not to include any commissioners, and to ensure that Sue Carter is among one of those members and to represent her precinct. This would involve the citizens of Karnes County to participate in the planning and execution of restoring the Karnes County Courthouse based on future grants from the Texas Historical Commission, and to make sound, objective recommendations to the Commissioner's Court. That will be in our best interest and protect our financial resources. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garner.
Matt Dockery.
I'm here to talk about the line item 7 about removing Carl as representative of our restoration. I don't know, I didn't read it, but I was at one of y'all's swearing-ins. I know y'all have a code of conduct. Y'all are supposed to act accordingly as a commissioner. I don't believe you can use the language Carl uses. I don't believe you can attack somebody's professionalism, somebody's integrity. Surely, all of us in this courtroom were taught that you, if he's elderly, you respect him, 1, for being elderly, 2, because they probably know a little more than you do. And the way Carl attacked Pete last Saturday was uncalled for. That's probably why his name's on this agenda to be removed. He doesn't have the professional capability of taking somebody's outlook on something and transferring it to the court or to the builder or to whoever without yelling or screaming at me or Pete. James, if he was yelling and screaming at you, I'd be up here talking for you. Tracy, I'd be up here talking for you. And vice versa, Carl. If either one of them were unprofessional, yelling and screaming at you, I'd be up here talking for them. You cannot conduct yourself in that manner. So, in that respect, I'm asking y'all to go out and find somebody that does this for a living, somebody that's not from the county, that can conduct themselves in a professional manner and work for the county, both sides, biased. They got to be biased in this thing. They can't have a for and against. They have to have, is this construction being done according to the specifications required? And be it at that, and I hope y'all consider that today.
Thank you, Mr. Dockery.
Mr. Stubbs.
I would first like to, well, I'd like to speak to number 22 specifically, but I'd first like to echo Mr. Shockman's concerns and above all, I'd like to applaud the court for recognizing how desperately underfunded the sheriff's office is. I was kind of hoping to see that it would include some sort of maybe pay structure changes and maybe wage increases to increase the employee retention. But I understand baby steps here, with things a little bit at a time. I do, though, however, question the timing of this, and again, echo Mr. Shockley's concerns, because we do have an election coming up, and we might consider allowing whoever is elected to that particular office handle these arrangements. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Maggie Hunt.
Good morning. Thank you for allowing us to speak. In December, shortly after our last meeting of the year, when we were discussing the upcoming movements at the courthouse, court ordered the only planning committee and only architects could go on site. Historical Commission, which I represent, was told we could not go. That was fine with us. So under those charges of not allowing anyone but the architects and the planning committee and the contractors on site, when we got the phone call from the contractor or the site supervisor that we had 2 trespassers on site, we get phone calls daily because it is a historical commission's project. We said call the sheriff, not knowing who the individuals were. Had there been consideration between Mr. Yower picking up a phone call saying, hey, Carl, meet me down at the courthouse. Matt wants to walk through it. I'm sure Mr. Hummel would have said, let's call the judge to see how she handled it. I'm under orders. And it would have been handled a little different. But there was trespassing, and following orders, they were asked to leave. We went to Austin Friday, and we came home, not surprised, but we came home with the burden of knowing why we didn't get the grant. Karnes County Historical Commission are not politicians, we're historians. Y'all have selected to be politicians. We came home knowing we lost the grant to 6 points. 2 points were taken for county leadership and 4 for non-compliance with their contracts. That moved us down 2 blocks, and that is why we're 14% ahead on our project. Well, we spin it as we didn't get the grant, county, because we're 14% behind. We didn't want to humiliate the court that it was your actions this past year of county leadership and not being compliant with your contracts that they removed 6 points. We went from 189 to 183, and 2 more counties moved ahead of us. That's y'all's burden. The election, the voters wanted this project. Your actions did not get us the money this year. We'll try again in 2 years. That's no problem. You inherited this problem. This court inherited the challenge. And I understand that. We all understand that. But everyone is watching.
Maggie.
Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you, Ms. Hunt.
One more, Carol?
That's it. I'm sorry. I miscounted.
Okay, the next what we're going to do is we're going to start presentations for the Karnes County Jail and Detention Center submitted by the following architects. Mr. Martinez has included a handout here of the times how he set them up. Where's Becca? There you are, I'm sorry. And we're going to start with Southwest Architects, followed by Burns, then Daly Spears, CRA, David Ramirez, DRG, and then Oslin. When we do these presentations, and I didn't open the envelope for one reason, is I didn't want anyone to think we were looking at some and not others. So they're up here, and I'll pass them out as we get ready to go into these. But when we start Southwest Architects, I respectfully ask that the other 6 architects move to this other side of the room. I can't close this front door because it's deemed open court, so please move over there, because I can close that door, but one of them needs to be open. You can't we just say something? And so if Southwest Architects would stay,
And everybody else, if you're with an architect firm, please go to the other side of the building. We appreciate it. Sheriff, these people have drawings, plans. If you need to see them, you need to come up here if you want to see some
Yes,
kind of
ma'am.
PowerPoint or presentation. And I'm going to open number 1. Are you Jeff?
Yes, ma'am. I'm Jeff Huffinger, Southwest Architects. Quickly pass
I'm
out.
sorry. Judy Craig?
No, Jenny Craig didn't come with me.
Thank you all very much for having us down. We appreciate the opportunity to visit with you. All the angles, what I call it.
Are the rest of the architects out? Are they all out? Is everybody out?
Nobody got up.
They're gone?
Well, nobody got up.
Yes, Mr. Burns left.
Oh, okay.
Nobody
Yeah, there were
else.
some people in
Yes.
here. Oh, you know what? I bet they stayed out a while ago when they came in. You're right. Okay, thanks, bye. I knew they were here. How many packages do you have? Carl, Tracy. Tracy. Bob. The next one here, you want it?
I apologize. My name's Jeff Huffinger, Southwest Architects. Nice to meet you, sir. Nice to meet you. Well, Sheriff, Jeff Huffinger, sir. Jeff Huffinger. Jeff Huffinger, sir. I'm Jeff Huffinger. Okay, my 15 minutes are up, I'm done. Thank you all very much for having us here. Southwest Architects has been in business since 1985, practicing in Fort Worth, Texas. We've represented counties. If you took Texas and made it a rectangle, we've been in all 4 corners. But Texas isn't a rectangle, so we worked in Brewster County, worked in San Jacinto County, worked in Bowie County in Texarkana, and worked in the Panhandle. I don't know if it gets, and we're working in Ward County right now. So traveling is our middle name. We very much enjoy what we do. We're not a huge staff, but being that we've been in business for 27 years, I feel like we're a successful staff. Our main goal is when we enter into every interview, we're actually doing our best to present to you the facts that Southwest Architects is a personal service business. We've worked for most of our county clients 2 to 3, 4 times. The best part is when you leave a client and they call you back for another project, it was a successful project. That's the way we approach every project. Tam Terry, the sheriff in Carson County who represents the small county sheriffs on the jail commission, we just completed his project. And if you read his letter in there, it's kind of unique. I've never got a recommendation letter like that before, but he says, Jeff, when you interviewed, he said, you told us you were interviewing for the next project. And he says, quite frankly, and I think it's a quote, we thought that was kind of BS. But he put it in our letter and he said it wasn't. I take a lot of pride in that. We've represented counties on 15, 20 jails, 30 jails, 20 jails anyway, all over the state. This is kind of our niche area in terms of design. We look to these projects that are smaller in nature. That seems to be the niche across the state that people have focused with us on. In that, we've never exceeded a budget. Now, we're not ones to go in with a high budget either. You've got Cadillacs, you got Volkswagens, we're Chevrolet trucks, okay? Ford pickup trucks, that's what we look to do. Cost-effective, maintenance-free design. And you can go to projects that we've done 7, 10 years ago. I know the sheriff got a phone call from one of our sheriffs. That's another thing, those relationships continue. It seems like when somebody knows we're going to interview, they call them. And I know David Walker, for example, called Sheriff Jalufka about, we did a project for them almost 9 years ago. You walk into that project today, and if Sheriff Walker has any issues, he can call me still. He's got my home phone number. My home phone number is in every commissioner's cell phone that we work. The bottom line is we're accessible. When we go to a project, our design, our process, we have a great relationship with the jail commission. Our costs are generally in the middle range in terms of cost for facilities, but the long range expectations of our clients are always met, like I said, and we're there forever, bottom line. You know, you don't stay in business as long as that. We pride ourselves, and there's not a lot of architectural firms in the state of Texas been in business 27 years under the same name. Actually, we had to change when we incorporated, but because the other name wasn't available. But other than that, that's the way we do it. So the bottom line is we're cost conscious, we're design conscious, and we're client-based service. And that's what we want to project. You probably, if you're going to try to win a design award, that's not our goal. Our goal is to be the best we can be for our clients. If somebody asks, do you like square or do you like rectangle? I've heard that question before. We like our clients' needs. That's what we do. None of our jails are a repeat jail. We literally design each jail for our client. Currently, we're working in 4 counties, or just completing 4 county jails. And the one jail we've done was the first that Texas Commission on Jail Standards highlighted in their first newsletter for Young County. We just finished a 96-bed unique jail in Howard County, and they just hired us, just finalized contracts last week for the law enforcement center to go with it, a joint center with Big Springs PD, another repeat business. But the bottom line is the uniqueness of each of our projects. Shackelford County is the first 24-bed jail built in the state of Texas in over 30 years. We're meeting our needs of our clients. Flexibility in design. Flex cells, we were the firm that developed flex cells. When we look at a 48-bed jail or a 24-bed jail or a 96-bed jail, with the days incarceration rates the way they are, females are up and down. They can be 5% or 30%. We make our jails flexible. We can take a 48-bed jail, and we've got Archer County and Carson County that are just completed. We can go up to 22 females or be as few as 8. Still meet every jail standard. The flexibility that gave that sheriff was unique, very unique. And the jail commission recognized that. In one of our designs recently for another county, they, in their letter to the county, said innovative design. It was innovative design because in a 96-bed jail, you could house 48 females or 48 males or as few as 12. Bottom line is it's very important to give your sheriff flexibility. As far as construction, here's some issues that you're dealing with. That's not an issue with Southwest Architects. We are on site every single week. We have a licensed architect in our firm that goes to every job every week. Bar none. Unless it's rained all week, he'll be there. He makes the meetings with the construction consultant, the construction manager, whatever. So we're hands-on. We're hands-on. We make those meetings. Once a month, we report to a liaison. We love committee to take care of the project. It sounded like you are starting that process in your courthouse. That is critical to us. If you'll notice, I gave each of you, and I'm about finished, is a process that we take at Southwest Architects to handle a program like this. You'll notice that we look at, in a first phase of this project, we get the whole team put together because it takes the full team to bring to this court the best recommendations for every phase of this project. And we start putting that project team together at the start, and they stay with this project through the completion. And time is of the essence. Carson County Jail was built in 9 months. 9 months. We moved them in 9 months. And listen, Tam Terry wasn't going to accept anything short of the best. It's got a complete video visitation system, complete electronic court. It has an emergency operations center in it that actually is funded outside by an outside agency, Pantex, that they have over $300,000 worth of electronics in one single room because of the uniqueness of their region. That facility was open. It was actually finished in 8 months and a week, but we gave them 3 weeks of training. It's important to make the sheriff and his staff ready to rock and roll, and that's what we believe. So our goal is when we're hired, that we create a relationship with our client. 2, that when we leave our client, that relationship is wholly intact to the point where they're willing to recommend us to anybody else. And 3, when they got another project, they call us back. That's our goal. And through that whole process, it's important to have a complete team. The only I in team is the guy that left. That's the way we look at it. And with that, I answer any questions.
Like I said, on the females, this is something that, we've already had 1 or 2, but right now I'm sitting on 5 females and 33 people in the jail as we speak right now. The female aspect is real serious here in Orange County.
And Sheriff, it's not unique in your county, as you well know. You hear about it all over the state. And I bet you, if I'm a betting man, that it could be 10 if you had the space. I just know that, because the problem is we have to take law enforcement to the maximum ability of our community, and I understand that. It's a challenge everywhere we go. That's why, to me, that flexibility is critical in the design of this facility. And also, think about this. Unfortunately, crime is not going away, and so master planning this facility to us is absolutely the most critical part of the start of this project. We have a lot of input at the state when it comes to how to do it. Jack Crump with our firm was the director for 13 years. He would have been here this morning, but he's a little under the weather. He had an operation here a couple weeks ago. He's not able to travel right now, but Jack is an asset to our firm, and he helps us, and he helps us be real outside of the box when it comes to, he can give us that law enforcement side of we draw pictures. He tells us how they work better. And that's what's critical for our whole team. So that's part of our process, is that bringing in all these people. And from a cost standpoint, it's a bonus for the county because it's a no cost. So.
I know Commissioner Yarn, the judge here, we both met, or all 3 of us involved. We met him during the jail commission. We left our office for pleading our case to keep our little jail open.
Yes, sir.
Until we get this over story. So they know them firsthand.
And the best, and the one thing about the jail commission is, they're reasonable people. They're there to help you, and I know that they've told you, you guys proceed, and we'll bless you for a while. And they're good about that. Carson County, even though that sheriff was on the jail commission, they put the hammer on him pretty hard too at the time, and it's pretty tough when you're the boss of the guy that's putting the hammer on. But they understand these things, and they're good to work with. And quite frankly, sometimes we as architects can help you tweak things to keep them in the best condition. And that's another option that you have with us, is that we're there to help. Like I said, we want to create that relationship. And please understand, don't take Fort Worth as a bad location for an architectural firm. We're almost the center of the state. And like I said, I love to drive. I kid about my big truck and my baby car. My baby car gets me to work, my big truck gets me to the ranch. But the bottom line is driving is not a problem for us. Working in Ward County or the Panhandle, you're closer. It's actually nice. It's kind of like a little closer shop for us. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good day. Good luck to you on your project.
Thank you. Are you talking this one?
I was okay, right?
You still have 3 minutes.
Okay.
You still have 3 minutes.
How many more questions?
You guys have got to look at 1035, David Ramirez's counsel. 1035 is counsel. 1035. I mean, yes, 1035. You guys get those?
That's okay, whenever you're ready.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. I'm Kenny Burns with Burns Architecture. I've met, I think, most of you. I'm here to tell you all about us and hopefully get you to ask a lot of questions. That's always my preference, is to tell you a little bit about us, but really try to get you guys to ask questions that are important to you so that I can give you the answers that you're looking for. To give you and the folks that are sitting here a little background on Burns Architecture, I've been in this business 32 years now, and the last 27 years pretty much focused on the architecture of jails. And so I also have a 27-year relationship with the Jail Commission that has been ongoing. We do work all over the state of Texas. We're based in Fort Worth, and projects that are close to y'all that we have done that you might recognize is the jail at DeWitt County, Cuero, Aransas County at Rockport, Lee County at Giddings, and jails everywhere. I have personally been involved in over 60 jail projects in the state of Texas, and that accounts for over 9,000 jail beds that we put in service. Because we don't do a lot of other things, we're really focused on jail and county work. You know, we don't do schools, and we don't do hospitals, and we don't do people's houses and things like that. All we do is jail. So our whole staff, from the people that are drawing the plans for me all the way through my construction folks, everybody's focused on jail design work. And as you look through our brochure there, you're going to see pictures and one thing and another, and I want you to take all that in and ask questions. And I think you'll also find in there's a map that will give you a pretty good idea of where we've worked all over the state. It's no big deal for us to travel to go anywhere like Karnes County. It's just what we do. Now also, as most of you I think know, the sheriff and Commissioner Gower came to see one of our facilities, and that's the new jail we've just finished at Blanco County. And we asked them to come over there when we talked to them because we felt like it was a jail that was very close to what y'all need. I won't say that any jail is a perfect cookie cutter for any county, but the size and the things that it had in it we thought was a good match maybe to start talking. And so we asked them to come over and look at that. And because of it, I'm going to hand out something just so y'all can see what they saw. Kind of have a little picture book. It's only Blanco County, but it's got a lot of photographs of what Blanco County looks like. And so y'all can pass that around while I'm talking and take a peek at it. Of course, you know, the job of your architect is not only to draw a set of plans, but the way we like to put it together, the plans are just a tool to getting your jail built. We're going to sit down with the Commissioner's Court and the sheriff and whoever the designated representatives of the county are, and develop the plan that works exactly the way you want to work it. And we're going to develop the budget, we're going to put the plans, the whole design together. We're going to help you find the contractor. The method of construction that I prefer is construction manager at risk, where we can go out and find a qualified jail builder to build this. We want somebody that's done this before, that knows the ropes of building jails. There are several good ones out there that would come down here and build for you. We want to go that route because we can assure you that you're going to be satisfied when you get through when you do that. If you go the low bid route, that's going to assure you that you won't be happy. If you go construction management at risk, the construction manager still has to bid the work out to all the subcontractors. So you're still getting competitive bidding as you do that. And once we get all that in place and we start into construction, we stay with you throughout the whole project. We'll be down here on site at least twice a month, and more often when we need it. There are certain times that are critical in the construction of a jail that we feel like we need to be there more often, particularly when the foundation's going in and the slabs are going down, because it's concrete. Once we put it in place, it's got to be right, because we can't move it. We can move walls, but it's a lot harder to move that foundation if it's not done just the way we want it to do. And there's so much going on in the jail. There's lots of plumbing, there's lots of floor drains, there's slopes in the slab. That's what gets so critical. And then of course, you get into the security electronics and all the detention equipment. Everything about a jail is very expensive because it's so specialized. It's a building that's not really built for any other use other than to house inmates. And so it is very costly to build, and has lots of special details and things to it that architect that doesn't practice this kind of work doesn't really know about, and a contractor that doesn't build this kind of work is not going to be familiar with either. It's very important to us, though, that we're with you all the way, like I said, through the jail commission reviews and getting their approvals so that we can keep moving forward all the way to we finish construction and making sure that the punch list is done and the contractor has done everything he's supposed to do by his contract so that you're satisfied when the project's done. Now, I will tell you, just to give you an idea, this little Blanco County Jail that we did over at Johnson City, that project cost $5.2 million. And that was, we started that job nearly 2 years ago. So you have to factor that in when you start thinking about the cost of these things. Excuse me. I will tell you this, though, the contractor that built it, and they're a contractor I would recommend to you, they told McCullough County, which is west of Austin, that they could build that same jail today for the same amount of money. Now, that was a stunning statement coming from a contractor, but it's because the labor market is still so far down. Material costs are coming up, we know that. If you move fairly quickly and whoever you select and try to get something going, you should be okay in your construction costs. But I do believe that your facility, even if you built the Blanco County Jail again here and with some modifications and possibly a courtroom like we've discussed, you're probably looking at $5.5 to $6 million. That's just my gut feel right now. Of course, if you hire us, we're going to develop the plans and we're going to develop a more specific budget to tell you what it's going to cost, excuse me, before you go out and borrow money or do whatever you have to do. And we're going to look at a budget that's not just construction costs. We have to look at the total budget. Construction cost is hard cost. You need to know the total figure, which includes all the soft costs that go into it. We would be remiss if we didn't tell you what we thought the full cost of this thing would be. And we'll help you, guide you all the way through this, and Mr. Martinez with financing, whatever we can do to help there, and provide all the information that's necessary to secure that financing as we move forward. Like I said, we're at the jail commission all the time. It's not a big deal for us to go down there. We know them very well. In fact, I will be at the jail commission Friday to review another jail plan with them Friday morning. We had to push it off to Friday because obviously, as I'm sure y'all know, you're on the agenda for Thursday. So that's why we're going in on Friday. I thought you had a question.
I know we're on the agenda for Thursday. I think we wrote a letter and stuff. We might be there, we might not. We're just kind of waiting on a phone call.
Sure. Well, I understand they have a light agenda. I debated whether or not I was going to go to it, but since I've got to be there Friday, and of course, we're available anytime. You know, if you select us to go to the jail commission, do whatever we have to do to basically run interference for you and represent your interest in front of the jail commission. We've done it for a long time. Very experienced at it. Again, I don't like to talk a lot about myself and what we do. I've been doing this a long time. I'd rather focus on your project and focus my energies there. So if there's questions you've got, I'd like to answer them.
Well, like I said, I know me and Pete went up there and looked at your jail, because Aaron was seeing all the jails we was looking at was all square-looking jails, or huge jails, like the one in DeWitt County and one in Lake County and stuff like that. Getting like kind of not went in through that, but I kind of went up there and met the sheriff a while back. So, and I know one thing you got going in your favor, that you have Terry Julian on there, who was like the founding father pretty much of the jail commission, because he ran it. He was the director.
He was there for a long time.
For a long, long time. So he knows ins and outs of the jails. That's one thing you have in your favor, that he knows how to build a jail.
Right. Well, and you've been to Lee County, or at least seen the outside. You know Rodney Meyer. I'm actually, when I'm through here, I'm going to Lee County. We have been doing continual work for them, and I have a meeting this afternoon with the auditor to see if we can't get some of that stuff paid. So I told them I would clear out of here and head their way in just a little bit. But that jail is actually 107 beds. So it's what I believe to be twice as big as what you need. And that thing, when we built it, cost about $8 million, I believe. That's a few years ago. But again, I think based on what we talked to y'all about and what we know, a 48 to 50 bed jail would work for you. The jail at Johnson City at Blanco County is 49 beds. Of course, I'm not going to go into it why it's 49 beds and why it's not 48. It gets complicated, and so we'll save that for another discussion on another day. But we've done jails that are 54 beds, 53 beds, 48, 49. They basically all are 48 bed jails, but it's a complicated, not real complicated, but too complicated to sit here and try to explain to everybody in the audience how we come up with these crazy numbers. But that looks like that's what will do you well. You know, one of the things that is very important to me is to design you a jail that is very economical to build and maintain. We're not looking for cheap. We're looking for good quality at the best price we can get that provides the best value to the county. It has to be built and designed in such a manner that it will be long-lasting and durable. These things take a lot of abuse. We can't cut corners, but we have to keep an eye on the cost all the time. So we're not going to Cadillac it, but we're going to do things that will help keep the cost down. Like you see in those photos of Blanco County, it looks like a metal building on 3 sides. Well, it's really not. That's just the skin on the outside. It's a hardened jail on the inside, and then we put stone on the outside on the front because they're in the hill country, and that's what they wanted. They wanted it to look like a hill country building. One of the compliments we got on that building, when the jail commission came, they said they drove by it twice before they finally found it because it didn't look like a jail. That was the marching orders given to me by the judge and the sheriff. Don't draw attention to it because we're in Johnson City. It's tourists. It's right on the highway. Downplay it. We don't want somebody to think it's a jail. And then the jail commission, who's in the business, said they drove by it twice before they said, wait, there's the jail. So, you know, that's what we're after. We want to build economically, but we want to take care of what your needs are. And there's so many different ways to do it. You talked about square jails. That's my forte. Now, you saw DeWitt County. Now, the exterior of the building is square. The interior of DeWitt, because it's a pod, it is everything or anything but square. But that's because it's a modular design. Your jail at a 48-bed size would need to be linear. A small jail does not work very well in the modular design. That needs to, you start getting bigger jails, that's when the modular starts working. Now, you probably could do it, but it gets really tough to do because you got males and females trying to mix in. But a linear, like you saw at Blanco County, that thing's squared up. You know, that's where we get our economies. I'm not trying to win a design award. I haven't won one yet for a jail. No county has asked me to do that yet. And if y'all wanted me to, we could try. But I don't think that's what you want. I don't think it's what the taxpayers want. It needs to be a building that's functional and, you know, attractive enough that you'd be proud of it to be a county building, but not something that's so over the top that your taxpayers think you have foolishly spent their money.
Well, I'm kinda like when me and Pete drove up there to look at it. We drove right by it too, we could look at it. I mean, I've been all over Johnson City several times in Hill Country. We actually drove by, straight by on 281. Never did comment about a new building, but we, and like I said, it just blend right in with the rest of the community. And that's kind of on, we got back from there, we had our little discussion here. One thing I was looking at, kind of like I was over in Jody's over in DeWitt County, you had that enclosed area for the rec room.
Absolutely.
I was there yesterday at a jail yesterday, and I was looking at it, and they was leaving it open, but it was out in the country. And this one here's gonna be in the city of Karnes City. And that was one thing I looked at real hard, was that rec room, and it had that plexiglass bubble over it, so they can't hear, see, smell, anything.
And that's what you want. We want to be good neighbors. We don't want folks on the street, kids, to hear what's going on in there. Because, I mean, at least the sheriff, and some of you know, and everybody in the audience may not know that, but you know, these aren't the nicest people that are in jail and the language and stuff. If we leave them exposed to the public, particularly in a downtown environment, there's going to be things going on and being said that we don't want mom and the kids hearing. So we advocate to you that you enclose that and make it an indoor space. Then it's usable all year round. If it's an outdoor space, see, today would be a bad day, they couldn't exercise them. It's freezing cold, it's hard to exercise them. If it's enclosed, it's used all the time. We don't have to worry about anybody trying to climb out. We don't have to worry about anybody trying to climb in or anybody hearing what's going on in there. So it's a really good thing to do, in my opinion.
Kenny, your 15 minutes are up.
Okay.
Kenny, can we keep this?
Sure.
Or is this yours? Do you want
No,
this?
I'll let you keep it. No
Well, if
problem.
you didn't intend to leave it, you don't have to, but.
Yeah, we've got the photos are on the computer, we can print it again. It's just a little book I made up for somebody, and I don't remember who I made it up for. And of course, if you look on the back, I don't remember what that is, but I was sketching an idea for somebody's plan, so. That's what we do. Okay, thank y'all for your
Thank you,
time.
Kenny, for your leadership.
Appreciate your interest in our firm. Look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all.
Sorry.
Morning, ladies, gentlemen. My name is Lorraine Bailey, principal of Bailey and Spear Architects, and this is Morgan Spear, also principal of Bailey and Spear Architects, and Catherine Linquist, she's our project manager in our San Antonio office. We would like to start this presentation with just a quick quick history, I don't want to get quick and detailed, of our collaborative experience. Morgan's and my 22 years of collaborative experience working together. I started my career and internship right out of college in 1987, working under the direction of Ed Gondek. He was a premier Texas jail architect in Texas at the time. During that time, I worked with Morgan on many jail projects, working under Gondek's sphere.
My career started probably back in junior high as working in construction work, which I just loved, and all the way through high school on into college. And so when I got out of high school, I said, where do I go to school to learn about construction? There was nothing. There wasn't a course. So I became an architect. I went to school of architecture, graduated from architect, and have been practicing ever since. I am a real stickler when it comes to construction. Lorraine, in this particular case, is going to head up this project, the design, and I'm going to be heavily involved when it comes down to the construction. It's got to be done right. There's no give or take. It's got to follow the drawings. And I'm a real stickler when it comes to the project being completed as designed.
In 1994, I formed a partnership, Daily Wrecking, Gondek, also known as DRG, and for 6 years continued on with my jail experience and design in that specialized field. In 2002, Morgan and I formed Daily and Spear Architects, and we have over 64 jail and detention facility projects that we've completed over our careers. And then Catherine's kind of showing you, or since we don't have a PowerPoint, we're flipping through what we handed out. So she has the page that I'm working off of. My experience, again, 25 years of experience dedicated and focused in jail and detention design. It essentially has been my entire career. 48 jail and detention facility projects. Morgan Spear, 47 years of experience in architecture with 22 years designing jail and detention facilities. So what makes Daly and Spear different? One is the way that we've structured our firm. We've structured it so that you have 100% of the focused experience of your principal architects on your project. How do we do that? Our commitment to Karnes County is we only have one project, one jail project under design at a time that ensures you have that focused attention. My 25 years focused attention spread out over 5 or 6 projects doesn't give you what we've committed to you. We've committed that focused attention to make sure that you have that experience. Your project will not be passed down to a less experienced architect in our office. I will be the architect that attends the meetings. I will be at your site visits. I will be there during design, during all the project meetings that we have. This is the face you'll see, and this is the experience that I bring and commit to Karnes County, that 100% focused attention. You won't be one of 5 or 6 jail projects we have under design in our office at a time. Also the proximity, we're close, we're an hour and a half away. I'm in San Antonio, Morgan's in Corpus. Both of us, an hour to an hour and a half away, depending on if the sheriff's out there with his radar detectors or not. We can get here quick, we're close. There's not another jail architect that has the experience, the 25 years experience that we have that will make that commitment, and that's what we're committed to do with for Karnes County. The next page here just is a graphic of Texas that shows jail and detention experience combined. Morgan and I have over 60 jail and detention projects. 24 of those are jail projects that have been certified by the Texas Jail Commission. So we have the jail and detention experience, and we're committed to you. These next 4 pages won't go into details because of time, but they show our detailed jail and detention project experience. So if we flip past those 4 pages and go on to your professional team, of course, I'm not going to do all of this work by myself. Your qualified team that will be supporting us, the engineers we use have the same concept that Daly and Spear has, and that is that the firm principals are the ones that do the design, do the construction documents, and visit your site to make sure that you have the highest quality. You don't have engineers just starting right out of school that are going to be working on your drawings and designing and responsible. It's the firm principals. So again, designing, producing, and doing construction observation, you have my 25 years of focused attention in jail and detention design, Morgan's 47 years, our engineer, Bill Rickram, 40 years of experience, and Mr. Martinez, our structural engineer, 20 years of experience. This ensures that you have the highest quality design and construction on your project. Your professional team is depicted here in this graphic. But essentially, we have between 6 and 10 people in our San Antonio office, 6 and 10 people in our Corpus Christi office, both within an hour to an hour and a half from your site. This team has completed projects ranging from $200,000 to over $60 million. We know what we're doing when it comes to jail and detention design. We have the experience and the expertise to take care of anything that comes our way in developing creative design solutions. What is our pledge to Karnes County? If at the end of the project, you just come up and you say, Lorraine, you did a good job for Karnes County, we hire you again. That even won't be enough for us. If I haven't exceeded your expectations, if you don't say comments that, Lorraine, you did more than any architect we ever worked with, you've gone way beyond what I expected, that's when I feel like I've done my job. How do I know that you will be able to say this about me at the end of this project? Because that's what past clients and contractors have said about us. Never encountered design professionals as dedicated to the success of the project as we did with Lorraine Daly. Honesty and fairness is unprecedented, responsive to our needs. I do not know any other architect that could have outworked Lorraine Daly. Has gone beyond her scope of services without additional compensation. Ethical, honest, and dedicated to our project. Her performance has been exemplary. Kept our project within the construction budget. We all know you are the keepers of the purse. You're watching the taxpayer dollars. That's paramount, that construction cost and staying within that construction budget. consistently outstanding professional service within the required time schedule and established budget. Her design has drawn tremendous accolades from visiting correctional professionals. No detail seems to be overlooked by her. The voice of authority in every meeting, protecting the town's interests. These are quotes that we have from the reference letters that we've included in the RFQ that we sent to you, that we have that have highlighted there for your review. Over our careers, another way that we know we can exceed your and will exceed your expectation is over the careers. Morgan and I, over these years, have developed comprehensive project management and quality assurance systems and checklists. We have found that some of the key components on jail projects is problem solving, organization, budget and time, design efficiency, and construction quality and value. We have adopted ways to address all of these items within our practice and the way that we handle and practice our architecture. This page here is a sample, just one part of a sample of a project schedule. And then the next page shows you how those parts are integrated into a program that's called ArchiOffice. It's a computer program that's generated and designed by architects and for architects. So Morgan and I have this tool in addition to our years of experience, because we are still human. So we have this tool in the computer to help us check and double check and triple check the tasks and items associated with your project to make sure that at the end we can say no detail has been overlooked by them. This next slide shows you a sample of a time slip. Along with on the left is a checklist that we do in milestone checking as we update our documents and our schedules and our budgets. And it shows how the time slip is integrated by the computer into the tasks that have to be completed. So each employee, as they work on a task, they mark what they've worked on in the computer. It automatically transfers over to those tasks that have to be complete. And when you see the green bars across the top, you know that everything's been completed that needs to be done. Red bars mean something's missing. Somebody missed a detail and it needs to be found and checked off. So that's how we use the computer to help you. You've got human hands designing and building this project. This architecture and construction is all about humans. We haven't automated it 100%. But we've automated as much as we can to have that computer help check us. So the other area that DSA outshines and exceeds expectations is in our building information modeling. When I got out of college, I used the paper and the pen. My first day at work, I erased. All day long, I used the eraser. Mr. Gondek said, client made changes, sit down and erase all of this. So that was a very challenging day at work for me, but it's different now. Now what we do is we use a mouse and we click the delete button. So much faster and so much better. Daly and Spears started using building information modeling 9 years ago when it first came out. So we have developed the expertise that we need in building information modeling. What does building information modeling do for you? Essentially, we design everything in 3 dimensions. Every wall, every door, every duct, every pipe chase, everything is drawn in 3D. Conflicts are found during design instead of out in the field. You don't get out in the field and say, you know what, the fire line doesn't fit with the electric line, doesn't fit with the HVAC line, architect, your ceiling's too high or too low. We find it during the design process, in the drawing process, because it's all drawn accurately in 3D. This results in savings for the owner. We found 5 to 10% cost savings because of this tool that we utilize. It helps the owner visualize and conceptualize. What are they actually going to see? Are we going to have good vision into that cell? You're telling me, Lorraine, I can see from the control room into that detox. Show me that I can see. Right here, we generate the renderings and the 3D walkthroughs that do show you that, and you don't have to get out in the field and say, Lorraine, this isn't what you promised me. You see it proven during the design process. This saves money also. If you have better performing buildings, there's a whole lot of things that this does for you, but just briefly, those are some of the highlights. If we switch to the slide that shows, there's another chart here that just kind of shows we use building information modeling from planning all the way through operations. We turn over this model to you and it can help you during your operations and maintenance in having the accurate, correct documents to schedule your AC repairs and your AC maintenance, etc. So we help you do facilities management using this BIM system also. There's something called a McLeamy curve, and essentially it's a fancy way of saying changes at the beginning don't cost money, changes during construction cost you a ton of money. Again, the BIM tool allows us to focus on the areas that we need to make sure our documents are accurate and correct. What we design can be built, it's accurate, and we don't make the costly changes that in the past have had to be made in the field during construction. Another tool with the BIM is, sorry guys, lights out. We have a powerful energy analysis tool. The next 3 slides, essentially what they do is when we design this all in 3D, we input where your energy costs are, we input the efficiencies on your mechanical, your electrical, your plumbing system, your light fixtures. It does an analysis, a computer-generated analysis of what does it cost you to operate and maintain this facility? What's your electric bill going to be projected to be next year, the year after, the year after? A powerful tool to be able to say, I can come and say, you know what, this light fixture may cost $1,000 more to install, but it's going to save you $58,000 over the life of your facility. Your project, the design and construction of your project is multi-million dollars, but over the life of your facility, it's only 10 to 15% of what your project cost you. 85% is what does it cost to staff it, and what does it cost to maintain it. So staffing efficiency and efficient design and efficient systems will save you tons of money down the line. And now it's not, again, just this is what Lorraine told us. This is a computer-generated model, and it tells us exactly what it projects exactly what you will have based on the escalators of, expected electric costs going up, etc. So down to, past those 3 pages, finally project cost. We know that you want to know, are you going to design it, are you going to build it, and what is it going to cost us? So again, since using building information modeling, our cost and guarantee maximum price have been maintained. Our change order is down to 0.1% of the cost of construction, which is almost non-existent. We're not perfect. I wish we were. We try, but we're not. We're still human. But we use every tool that we can to be as perfect as we possibly can be, because we know that you're trusting us with your dollars, and the decisions that we make and the project that we do for you makes a difference in your costs. Finally, over my 25 years in this career, jails and detentions is what I've been focused on. What we've found is what's really changed over these 25 years is technology. Security electronics is the area that's changed the most. Your locking systems, your 1080s, 1070s, 10120s, they're the same. Your steel, your concrete, your security glass, essentially same components. We tweak them and improve, but they're the same. Security electronics has just changed exponentially. Look at where we are today and where we were then. I have experience in completing millions of dollars in security upgrades of other facilities, and we can bring that technology to you and that experience to you. Finally, I would like to close with what sets DSA apart. What's different? You're going to hear from a lot of architects today, so what's different about us? Time? Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Lorraine, I was going to ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
I put people in several of these jails here.
Yes, sir.
That one at New Medina County Jail, that's out there by the airport. That's one. I don't know. I'm looking at Randy Brown, sheriff there right now, and just recently I went out there, probably in the last 6-7 years before I made sheriff here. And he was talking about the design, that booking area, when you come in through that Sally Port, you see that long hall, looking off to the left, and you're sitting there at the booking area, all that glass, it kind of looked like that Goliad County Jail that helped Slim McMahon and them back in the late 90s construct. So I know, kind of had that. That's what I was telling you about the other day, that glass where you have all your holding, your all that stuff.
It's similar to Starr County. Starr County I remember better, and sometimes, a lot of facilities, if I look at the plan, they can stumble, but Starr County is, and here's the glass that I kind of represented for you there, is what you'll see, the glass in.
But that jail there, Randy Brown's there in Hondo, I was real impressed when I went in that jail, because the way everything was clean, there's not a lot, looking through a lot of glass and stuff, and it came right in out of the Sally Port and put your people, and all them people that you brought in, just right there. Okay, all right, good. Thank y'all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
You two have to share, and we're gonna share it later. We didn't get it out. We'll share. We good?
Here, you can have mine. I don't need all that. I can buy me a paper cut.
CRA. Thank you for that. I got a couple of certificates to do.
Okay. Like I said, a lot of these deals, I didn't know we could build these deals, being in them a lot. And, that's good. Good idea. This one, the Honda.
I get so tired of hearing that. Good morning.
Good morning.
I've got 8 of them. Good morning.
All right.
What day I am?
We like them already.
Good looking calendars.
Is that microphone working?
I think so.
Bob?
If not, can we hear him? I can hear him.
Okay.
I heard everybody else.
Working?
I hear you. We're fine, as long as we hear you.
Fine. Good.
Good morning. My name is Bill Rutherford. I am here representing Clemens Rutherford and Associates. With me is Greg Kelly and John Adame. John is a civil engineer from San Antonio. We are a Florida firm. You probably look and say, why in the world do you come to Texas to do jails? We do jails all over the country. We are working on jails from Brazil to Idaho. It is what we do. We do jails range in size from 31 beds to 5,000 beds. And we looked at yours, and we're working in Texas now with a couple other counties, and we became interested in that and decided we would just take a shot and see what you thought about our abilities. If you look at the second sheet there that you have, it names 4 people. Those teams give the rows of the named 4 people that will be involved in this project. You can see the experience and the years that we have. Tremendous amount of corrections experience all over the country. Small jails, large jails. The best thing that we bring to the table for you or any other county is the fact that every jail that you see in that brochure, every jail that I mentioned to you, we did. We do not have any branch offices. We chose 25 years ago to travel as a firm, and that's what we do. We travel. We don't build branch offices around. We found out that we keep our best team in our home office, and that's where we and how we operate the best. We do a tremendous amount of projects financed by several means. We do them through facility corporations. However the county decides to finance it, we do a lot of work with USDA, which happens to be the best deal going in the country today for building anything in a commercial setting for a county government. We do on the average about 4 or 5 jails per year in total, so that's the reason our jail numbers run up. We're in Coke County with Judge Blair on his now. We're looking at Colorado County with Judge Browse on his. So those are 2 other counties that we're looking at in Texas right now. The next page shows you a listing of several jails that we've done, about 30, I think actually it's a little more than 30 in the last 10 years, with a range of various sizes. We do a lot of different jails and different types of supervision, whether it is direct supervision or indirect. In the state of Texas, you have the 48-bed rule, which is the most difficult bed rule in the country to deal with because it requires more officers. But that's the rules, that's the jail standards, that's the Texas jail standards, that's what you do, it's fine. It's the reason you're looking at 48 beds in your advertisement. We understand that. We know Brandon Woods and Don Munoz very well in the Texas Jail Standards Office, in and out of there working with them, so we understand what they're looking for, we understand what they expect, and we are prepared to do that. just looked at some of the things. You're looking at a 48-bed jail. What we do not know about your facility is how you plan to break your 48 up. Whether you plan to have 148 norm or whether you plan to break it up. I would think that you break it up in different classifications. You have minimum, medium, and maximum, which gives you the issue of dealing with the officers. Jails are a unique facility. The capital cost is very difficult up front, but every 7 years, generally speaking, the staff will be as expensive as it costs to build a jail as a general rule. So those are the kind of things that we understand. So the best thing that we can do for you is design you a jail that meets your jail standards, that is safe for the detainees and for the staff, and also is efficient to run, because that is the thing. The jail should last you at least 50 years. It should be here that long in service for you. So it should be built to last. It should endure all of the abuse that it takes, because it's a 24/7 facility. It never sleeps. We would sit down with you, talk about how you plan to do your food service, how you plan to prepare the meals, the most efficient way to do that, what medical services do you want. We see that you want 48 beds to start with. You want the ability to expand to 160. That is not an issue, but it is very important up front for the first 48 that you build it so that the expansion to 160 does not cause you staffing issues, or staffing costs of the name of the game in corrections. That is what will make or break you in a correction facility. We just do too much of it. You'll notice here just some pictures, not many ways other to show you what we do than just show you the pictures.
I was going to talk to you a little bit about the design approach. As Mr. Rutherford said, to begin with, we want to look at the long-term versus the short-term costs. We want you to have a facility that you can afford up front, but we want you to be mindful of operational costs. Every 7 years, you're repaying the total amount up front. We want to maximize the safety for the officers and the inmates. We want to design efficiently to minimize staffing requirements, reduce operating budget again. 5, 6, and 7 on this, if you generalize them together, we don't want you to have the Taj Mahal. We want you to live within your means. We understand. We want you to have what's best, no frills. There are ways, we'll talk to you in a little while about doing that. We want to design a plan for the future, and there are things we can talk about getting you extended warranties on certain items.
Generally, we look at 5-year warranties on correction facilities and not 1-year warranties. And we're able to do that because we know all the jail manufacturers, all the equipment. 5-year warranties on issues for jails is not an uncommon thing.
We want to come and sit down with you, do vision workshops. We want to get the departments involved that you deem are necessary, all the stakeholders together, so we can sit down with them and put this together. We want a consensus effort, everybody involved. So when we're done, we've got a consensus building. We're good listeners. We want you to know that. We listen to what you say. We'll do what you ask us to do.
The sheet that
Go ahead.
sheet that has the cost estimating on it, it says it's got the MC square at the top. We have a computer program that we have built on costing correctional facilities. We can take the facility apart piece by piece and price it. We will know what it's going to cost when we bring you schematic drawings we look at, when we bring you design development. It won't be guesswork and it won't be per square foot, because that is useless. It won't work. We will give you estimates that will stand up. We will know what it's going to cost when you start to borrow the money, or when you start to bond it, or however you plan to finance it. We will be able to give you correct numbers. We will be able to tell you what it's going to cost and how much it's going to cost you to operate it. We do enough of it that we have the ability around the country to get the different pricing from different subs, different type trades, and the different divisions of the specifications. So it's just what we do. John, you want to speak to them about the site just a little?
Sure. Gentlemen, my name's John Adame, Pape Dawson Engineers out of San Antonio, Texas. We've been around since 1965, and we're one of the largest civil firms in San Antonio that handle land development, transportation needs, hydraulic needs, environmental needs, and land surveying. From just, site visits, looking at the site that you've got in mind, the things that pop out that are good is accessibility. The site is there. utility availability from a standpoint of water, sewer, and electric is available. Wasn't able to see if there was any gas available to the site. And then topography, other than being, not in the hill country as San Antonio mainly is, you've got
get that presented to where you can have a successful referendum on your bond election.
Well, we were talking on the way over here, and I had visited with Joe Tackett up in Wilson County. We did their jail a few years ago, well, more than a few years ago. And one of the things that we talked about was the fact that even many years after the warranties have run out and everybody's responsibility has gone away, we've still been there for the client. Out of that 100 jails that we've done, probably 60% of them are jobs that we've gone back and added to or replaced the jails that we worked on before. So we have a lot of repeat business, and I think that's one of the things that stands out for us, that our clients want to have us come back and continue to work for them. We've been to your site several times, looked at it. There's probably some question in the public mind about it being the closest this to the park. We can do some things with cameras and construction and fencing that'll look good and serve the purpose of keeping that separation. Because when you're out there with your children on the swings, you don't necessarily want to see a bunch of inmates with their overalls on. So we can go through all of that and make sure that we keep the community protected. What you're looking at here is a project, it's not only a couple of years in duration, but we'll be around long after that time. And we spent quite a bit of time in this part of the country. The office is not that far away in San Antonio, so we're here at your beck and call.
Gary, y'all did the Wilson County Criminal Justice Center?
Yes. So, yes, the sheriff and I have remained good friends all these years, so.
One thing that I wanted to show you, in the book there, there's always some nice pictures of the outsides of the jail, but I did want to throw a couple pictures in there of what really makes up the backbone of the jail, that access to the plumbing chases and the plumbing that goes in these facilities, the secured electronics and mechanical systems, that those are the key issues that make these facilities workable for many years to come, to where you don't have small pipe chases to where you can't get in there and work on these facilities. What we have come up with, that even though each of these jails is similar sizes, have a little bit different structural systems from time to time, we're trying to make sure we plan in all those accessible spaces for mechanical repairs, plumbing repairs, electrical repairs, because that's something that you're going to deal with every day in the operation of the jail. We understand that this facility is here and has to be dealt with. We also looked at that you don't always have the ability to have sophisticated or highly trained technicians being able to work on this equipment. We try to make it where everybody that your local plumbers or electricians can work on most of this equipment. It can replace the products, all of it being outside the cell units. We have also tried as much as possible to make the buildings fit where we put them at. As I said, in Houston County, it was next to the park. They didn't want it to look like a jail. Most of the people say, well, it looks like a school building, not a jail building. But that's what they wanted to have there, is something that wasn't as dominating over their park area. As Gary mentioned, we are officed in San Antonio. As y'all know, that's a little over an hour from here. We do a lot of work in South Texas and are very much available to be able to be on site, and especially during the planning and construction of the project. We do go all over the state, but I'd obviously much rather drive an hour down the road rather than 4 or 5 hours out to Mitchell County or some other county. Talking to the judge from B-Rat County as we're walking in here.
I was telling him where I was at, and he said, well, you're right there at home, aren't you? And I said, well, yes, sir, and I appreciate that, to be able to be this close to San Antonio.
Wayne mentioned either Rath County last Wednesday, we passed the jail commission's occupancy check. We just added 80 beds to their jail, and they're a repeat client. One of the things that I see here that's happening in a lot of places is trying to anticipate your growth of this jail. How big do you build? You know, y'all are sitting right here in the hot spot of the state right now with your oil and gas and the growth, the population growth. What we see is to design you a building that's easy expandable in the future. If we need to come back, you know, in 2-4 years to add more beds, we go ahead and size the kitchen, laundry, the services big enough to take that expansion without having to tear out and rip out. The other thing I see is you're gonna have a lot of traffic to your multiple agencies here, people that are not gonna stay in jail over the period of time it takes to bond them out. What we propose here is in the processing that we kind of supersize the holding areas so we can hold those inmates that are gonna bond out Monday morning, and you don't have to process them back through the jail and go through all those issues. The other thing we see is the male-female relationships in how you design a jail. We have male area, female area, and we have an area that can be a swing, not a swinger, but a swing area that can either be used for the males or the females. That way you don't suddenly lose 7 beds because you had to take over an 8-man pod. Those things that all these years of experience bring to the table. And we feel like we're highly qualified to design your jail. Call any of the projects that we've ever worked on, and they'll tell you that we've been there during the design, during the construction, and after the construction. Because this, as we form a team here to produce this project, we'll all need to work together and work on moving it forward. And I guess we've probably eaten up our 15 minutes.
You have 1 more minute.
1 more minute.
In closing, I know that y'all have the booklet there on our facts and figures. We do have a few unique aspects about us, and Gary does have some correctional experience, and with his MP background. My background's a little bit unique in being the former deputy director of the jail commission. But we do understand a little bit beyond just the design of the built environment. We do understand the operation of the sheriff's office and the operation of the jail. We spend a lot of time in these facilities and working very closely with the sheriffs and making sure that we understand the day-to-day operations of those facilities. So that's what we look at as much as not only the physical structure, but of the flow and function of the building.
Any questions of us? We either answered all their questions, or they don't think we know the answer. We certainly appreciate y'all having us today.
Thank you. Thank y'all a lot. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. We certainly appreciate the opportunity to appear before you this morning.
My name is Kennedy Whiteley. My associate, Kwok Sui. We're an architectural firm, Ausland Architects from Austin, Texas. We've been in business in Austin since 1979 and hope to continue for some time to come. The project that you have is of great interest to us. We have done 2 new county jails, one for Gonzales County and one for Dimmitt County. The Dimmitt County project with Judge Ponce, actually Judge Johnson started the project, but Judge Ponce was there when we finished. That was originally a 48-bed, designed as a 48-bed facility, the same as you're proposing. We went for bids, came back in, and our bid cost was $57,000 a bed. So instead of scrapping the project, we added 48 additional beds and made it a 96-bed facility and dropped our cost per bed down to about $36,000, $35,870, I believe is what it was. Gonzales was an extremely inexpensive jail. It was a 96-bed facility to begin with, and like you, they were considering the USDA for their funding mechanism. And much like you, there were no funds available at the time, and so we applied for grant and loan. But as it turned out, the commissioners, that's when money went soft, and they were able to do it better at their bank than they were by going through USDA. We've worked with USDA on projects in Plainview, Texas. This was not a correctional facility. This was a complete redo of a medical clinic. But they're good to work with. It takes a little more time. They want to review all documents just as the State Jail Commission does. And I think, again,